and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. We'll call the meeting order. I'll ask the Court Treasurer to call the roll.
Barnes, Hastings,
Here.
Lynch,
Here.
Pistol,
Here.
Ward,
Here.
Williams.
Here.
You have in front of you the agenda. I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? I'll ask for a vote.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
You also have in front of you the minutes for the January 23rd meeting and monthly financials. I'll entertain a motion in a second to accept those as presented.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll ask for a vote.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Brings us down to department head reports. We'll start out with the Airport Commission. Jason Hayes is with us tonight. I asked him to come. Also, from rest of the year, a lot of times people say, I'd like to hear from, I'm going to ask a commission member or Trevor or whoever, someone represent the airport, be here every meeting if possible. That way, if nothing else, we can meet all our commissioners. But there's not a lot going on. I thought we might have an agreement. That's kind of why your agenda was so delayed in getting out on the fly-in for the eclipse. But it seems like, I talked to the city attorney, it seems like commission is contained, I'll let you explain it, but an event, it's kind of like a fly-in. They're capable of handling that. I think we're comfortable with the plans. We'll talk about it, answer any questions we can. Jason, anything on your end to report? You got a meeting a week from Monday, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
On the fly-in for the Eclipse, Trevor, he took over as airport manager last year. He's done really an amazing job. He's very organized and very down, talks about just about everything you need to know. He's got this well covered.
And I thought of a broader, I thought we'd need an agreement tonight. The delay in the agenda was, for me, I talked to Chad. I didn't know if we needed to pour through everything, but I think it's something the commission approved and okay. And we talked to Trevor and he seemed like he had a pretty good handle on it, on the ingress and egress with planes. I think he's concerned, his biggest concern would be about the departures, because some people, he talked about want to land and then take off again and see, it's somewhere else in a plane. You can, I guess, fly that quick, but I don't think he's overwhelmed and thinking we're going to have, too big of a deal. Of course, and the way he talked is pretty well laid out. Holly Mountain, we have 2 airports. That's a concern for him, but he seemed to be thinking about things that I wouldn't thought about. So I don't think we need any action on that.
I'll touch on it just a little bit
Okay.
why there's not an agreement.
Okay.
Because we met with Trevor this week and sat down, and my idea on the front end is like the city council is going to have to approve whatever it is we're talking about. And the real reason why I think there's something that needs to be done, or why my thought was there's something that needs to be done, is we're changing. There's a profit share arrangement that was discussed. Of how much would go to the airport, how much would go to Dawson as an event organizer for ramp fees is actually what's changing. Typically, right now there's not a fee, and correct me if I'm wrong because I learned everything 2 days ago about the airport. But there's not a fee when a plane lands and parks in the just for the day or whatever. Because of this event, the thought, and because of the demand, and really to try to probably meet and maybe curb that demand a little bit. The idea is if we charge a ramp fee, it will, number one, get people to pre-register, and number two, so we get an idea who's coming in, and then two, we might discourage people that might not be serious about coming in and just want to pop in and sit for a minute and take off again to create that congestion issue. Makes a lot of sense to me. But because we're changing the way we do ramp fees, my thought was we probably need to get something in writing to commemorate that. So that was why we're going to put something together. I still think we need to put something in writing, but I think it should probably be approved by the commission. So that's something, Jason, I think you and me probably should work on the next week or so to get for your commission meeting. I am convinced that it is more appropriate to go through the commission and not the council. I actually think it's possible that if it went through the council instead of the commission, it might it might be questionable. I think the better way to go through it actually to go through the commission. They're an administrative board, and they've actually got protection under Arkansas law as far as management of the day-to-day operations of the airport. So I'm pretty comfortable that it's a commission matter, not a council matter. So that's why we didn't put a contract together to run through the council. I do think we need to, just because it's a change of the rate structure, I think the commission's already kind of basically approved the plan and you're good with it. We need to put something in writing on it. So.
Anything else, anyone? I just have, somebody brought up about parking RVs that had come up, and I think in one of our meetings for the city, people pull up side, they're not gonna have any of that on-site RVs outside this. That's also a state road, and I was glad to hear that, because I don't think there'll be a lot of campers. Oh, and one of the things they had in their plan, they said if the city was ever interested in buying a machine, that's come up several times, buy a Coke machine or not, and we're just gonna stick with the honor system here, you know, for one-time event. And I don't think the commission over the past years, we don't need a Coke machine, it's something else to maintain. So I'll provide any extra drinks we need, I think, for that. I don't think it's gonna be overwhelming. And that's all I had. I'll meet on Monday.
Question?
Thank you. Brings us down to animal control, Rita Tharp.
Okay, animal control is really doing really good. I mean, we're getting contacts, a lot more help. We're having an event Saturday at Tractor Supply. First Arkansas Bank and Trust is coming to help me out of Damascus. That will give us extra folks. We're gonna try to get dogs that. We've had a huge, I mean, it's been shared on every site. And I'm gonna take 6 dogs at a time. If those get adopted, I'll go back and get some more. Whatever it takes. We're gonna have enough trucks there and everything to take care of that. And I have enough hands on deck to make sure that the dogs are maintained and everything's good. We are a few over. I'm not taking any now though. I have stopped that because I wanna have this event and get some out. Some things happened during the bad weather. I couldn't help it. It was like they got in places where I could not just leave them, because that would have not been good.
You did call me for the council, and I just did take them. Of course, I didn't call you guys, but it was a pretty bad weather.
And I one of the officers had to bring one in, and she contacted me about it.
I think currently we have 21 dogs and 15 cats, with 6 dogs kind of over and 3 over on cats. But like you said,
Actually, we only have 12 cats. We're not over on cats. We was one over, but we got her adopted. We got one adopted, so. And the next month will be a cat event.
what?
A cat event.
Okay. So the Monday is 9 o'clock at Tractor Supply.
It's Saturday at 9
I
a.m.
mean,
until, as long as people are interested in coming and looking, I'm gonna stay there. Let's see. We've had quite a few monetary donations. It just takes a while to get all your ducks in a row. It's not easy, but it's getting better every week. More people contact me, bring in donations, whatever. So I feel good about it. I mean,
I've talked to some people that brought in feed and monetary donation did pretty strong, and I think y'all are doing a great job. And I think we added another part-time a while back.
a while back.
Yeah, put that in the budget. I appreciate the council for that. We're a little bit over right now, but it was an extraneous circumstance, and it's going really smooth. I heard really good feedback. So, and for Sammy and Dewey and Jeff, anytime y'all want to meet,
Absolutely.
I'll pick a time maybe and just set one, because sporadically. I told Sammy, a lot of folks on these I'll start putting on the agenda or give you a punch list of what committee you're on, because it needs to know, like I probably should have called during the cold weather, but you did a really good job.
We managed.
Yeah.
We did. Does anybody have any questions?
Y'all still doing the aluminum cans?
Yes, sir. Dana, are those coming to city?
Mhm.
Okay, just making sure. Yes,
County-
and it gets,
county pays us.
it gets filled up in a hurry. I mean, people are constantly bringing them down. It's full right now.
I listened to the Trading Post in the morning, and I've heard 2 or 3 people wanting to give cans away, and I started to call. I don't guess Sid knows that we have that down there to tell them, hey, take them down there and drop them off. But
Yes, I'll contact Sid, but, anyway, it's going as good as can be. No animal shelter will ever be perfect, but it is what it is.
You've done a really great job. Thank you. Call Sid on aluminum cans. Anybody else for Rita? Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming. I know you don't feel well. Brings us down
Oh, it's all
to
right.
Fire Department report, Chief D.L. Webb.
Last couple of weeks since our last meeting's been pretty busy. Started off with a truck rollover up at Denard. They asked for our assistance. Went up with the Jaws to help them out of that. Everybody was fine. Next was a burnt bacon at the Leffler Estates. They didn't offer breakfast to us, but the bacon was burnt already. But that was a call to there. Had a hay trailer coming through town, blew a tire. They basically had the fire out on the tire by the time we got there, but it was in front of Paul Rodas over here. Then our next call that we had, scrolling through this, we had a incident with a vehicle just north of town. Rolled back on a gentleman, and it was a fatality by the time all was said and done, unfortunately. And then just the other night, we had a pretty major fatality head-on collision just down nearly in front of my auction barn. There was 1 fatality out of 8 people that was involved. It was pretty bad. We had the survival flight brought their helicopters in. I do want to say that as bad as that is for that wreck, that there was a lot of different agencies that was involved in it. Rescue squad, our fire department, first responders, survival flight. No situation like that is ever good, but there was a lot of people to be proud of that night, and I'm proud of everybody that was there that night. It couldn't have went any smoother. And Warren, I know you're sitting in there. If you don't care, would you tell what the state trooper told you?
State trooper called and said that she was absolutely just very pleased, very happy. Everything went well, and she wanted to pass on the recognition to all the folks that was there on how smooth it went, under the circumstances.
And it wasn't just us. It was a lot of, everybody worked very well together in a very bad situation. But we all learn from it, and we go by it and ready for the next one. Other than that, that's all I've got as far as the fire department goes.
Yeah, and y'all been through it, 2 fatalities, and appreciate y'all guys very much. That's hard to deal with. The other thing is Arkansas Forestry up there, they're renting from us. They picked up Pettigene fiber, I think. I signed a deal that the renter can pick who they want. Also passing around to the council. I just talked to you earlier. I thought we'd pay that bill next week, but Josh Stewart is about done with all his drawings, and you've invited people to come by, and I guess we won't get or we may make a print, or when we ready to decide on it, probably, I'd like to get a paper print at some point. We can put that, and so people can come by and just look at it. I know most people look at it online, but you want to go ahead and pay that, his bill tonight, and also the rent for Justin's, which is actually on the item for business. We have a deal for that, but go ahead and.
I didn't know when you wanted to you want to do it now? Go through that stuff?
You want to just can we do all the fire under that, on that, now you're talking
The new
about.
business, if you want
Tell them
to.
what you want to do, and then the way that Justin's bill's rent, we may or may not can do that 6 and 4 on the rent. Well, I guess we can put it in account.
You gonna put that, well, you gonna do that under new business, cause that is your new
Let's do that
business.
under new business. You want to do Josh Stewart? Do we
Yeah,
need to do Josh?
I got ahold of Josh the other day, one day this week, they're about ready to put this thing out for bid. Like at the last meeting, he sent all the plans, I've got everything here, I've let the fire department look it over. Had it here for y'all to look over last meeting, if anybody wants to see it again, I've got it here. Richard asked about, a paper, something on paper, Josh said he would see what he could do about that. He's gotten behind on a couple other projects. He apologized, but he is hopefully by the end of the month should be ready to put this thing out for bid. We got with him with the sewer expansion with Will. We're going to go ahead and look at going north from that property and tying into the existing sewer that we already have. So they're going to engineer that. It was going to be $8,000 by the time it was done, but $8,000 is what that engineering fee is going to be.
Yeah, that, we had talked about 60 or 70 or, when we talked about the overall bid for that. And the whole, on that paper, I may just be the only one. They may not do that at all. I'm used to just, you may not do that.
I can make copies for you and try to print it out and float it up if you want to see it anyway.
Will,
When we decide.
when they put out for bid, he'll have to have that for
Okay.
those
Yeah, they'll
people to
have the
get.
big copy like.
We just won't get one until
Yeah.
it gets put out for bid.
Yeah, so under fire department, if you want to tell how you want to pay,
The engineering,
yeah.
okay. The engineering fees, do you know how much they are? Just kind of off top, is 50, 60,000?
Yeah, well, I'm passing it around.
718.75.
Okay, my suggestion to Richard was this,
I thought we'd do this next meeting, I didn't know we'd.
Oh.
Go ahead.
well, my suggestion on that is to pay the engineering fees. We can pull that out of our fire department special equipment fund, because this would be considered towards the purchase or building of a new fire station. And under Act 833 guidelines, which is what the special equipment fund from the tax revenue we get is what it goes under. So we could pay that to where the general is not out of anything on that right now. And we're in pretty good shape on that as far as being able to pay that out of this fund without it having to affect general.
Okay, you need a motion second.
Fire special equipment or Act 833?
No, out of the fire department special equipment fund. Yeah, yes, I think, well, I don't know that we necessarily have to have,
You mentioned both, that's why I was asking.
no, it falls under Act 830, it's the same guidelines as Act 833. Yeah, I mean, you can have a motion and second if you want to move 60,000, that would cover that bill from the fire department special fund, or pay that bill out of the fire department special fund.
Doesn't matter to me, Dina, what's.
Pay it out of it. There's no sense in moving it, we can
Sure.
just pay it out of it.
Entertain a motion second for that amount for Josh Stewart, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. I'll entertain a motion for that. I'll entertain a motion second,
I need the
please.
bill too, I don't have one.
We're fixing to give it to, I just want somebody to introduce it and say this exact amount.
I make a motion, we pay the Josh Stewart architect $59,718.75.
You have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Probably-
Out of the fire department special equipment fund.
Out of that
Fire department special equipment fund.
special equipment fund by the fire department.
How do we have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? I'll ask for a vote.
Barnes,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
And I think there was 144 in there, so you're.
101,942.
Okay, and the other thing, you had mentioned that the Reynolds brothers own some land. That was one of the things to hold up on that hadn't been,
That was part of the holdup. I had told Josh to go ahead and go on with it and put that on the side burner, but now we've gone ahead and told him go ahead and go with it.
yeah, we were either gonna go, from the front of the fire department down toward Highway 65, or we were gonna go
West.
West, northwest toward, the four-way stop down there by the transfer station. And thought the Reynolds owned some land. We talked to them. At this time, they're just gonna keep their land just like it is. Eventually, if they develop that, they'll have to put that in, so. Anyway,
They just didn't want to do that at this time.
it wasn't good for them at this time. That was an option. Okay, Anything else for that? The other we'll cover under the.
Yeah, do you want to talk about the eclipse under the fire department, or do you want to, is that some other?
Yeah, I wanted you and Jay to talk a little bit about that. Give us an update on that. We're supposed to meet tomorrow at 3, and we've been meeting every Friday at 3. I may ask y'all to let's maybe do that Monday. As a matter of fact, at the end of the meeting, I'll probably just want, tomorrow's filled up pretty good.
Just plan on moving it to Monday
Yeah.
at 2.
2 o'clock Monday, but go ahead and fill us in on what the city's doing for the eclipse.
We've been meeting as a board, or department heads, Charles been included, Will, we've all been doing it. Last Friday, we started meeting with Richard. We're gonna continue meeting once a week. We're planning the best that we can, because there's just so many variables, but we're looking at stationing fire department and police department throughout the town in certain spots. We've talked with the hospital, the water situation. I think we've just about covered everything that we can cover. Of course, it's kind of like the chuck wagon races. When it happens, and you kind of deal with it. We're trying to figure out as far as this, if it is chuck wagon and you do have great weather. I seen a report today that they're still predicting that half the population of the state could be here. So 2.5 million people, somewhere in there, could be coming to Arkansas for the eclipse. So we're meeting as a city right now. In the next couple of weeks, I think we want to start getting some business people involved to let them know what they might expect as far as parking, roadways, things like that. So I feel good about it. We all feel good about where we're at on it as far as going to other places and listening and hearing from other people. They're not near as prepared as we are.
I think for, you and Charles, DL, Charles, Jay Murdoch, and Will kind of taking the emergency and traffic side. I think maybe Tim and I and Jason Hayes and anyone else, the business owners, we'll start including them. I know Ronnie up at the old Walmart building, he'll come to our next meeting. I'll tell him it'll be Monday. But anyone else from the community that has anything that wants some input, after this meeting, you give me a call City Hall. They give you my number, and we meet once a week. So
part of the reason we've been meeting here as a city is we want to get our infrastructure in place of what we're going to do before we started talking to everybody else, so that they can kind of go with what we've got going. Because if you get businesses and stuff involved before we kind of know what we're doing, it just becomes chaotic. So this gives us a good reason of what we're doing, how we're going to do it, and it'll help guide them in what they're doing.
Well, you 4 department heads, from you down to Will, is the nuts and bolts of it and the safety aspect, and myself and Tim are do the businesses and the events and more of the fluff. But yeah, with the meeting we went to, I was very pleased the way you guys have already been meeting a couple of months or maybe more. So, anything else for fire? Okay, we'll get you under new business. Brings us down to Parks and Street Department, Charles Wilson.
We put in some drains at the ball field, kind of got them fixed back up a little bit because we got ball games here a couple of weeks. High school wanted to move over to field 2, so they're going to be on field 2 instead of field 3 this year. So we got all the Christmas lights down. Smith's been working on the kitty park, getting all the gates and posts fixed that was broke. I think he's got all them all patched up, ready to go. I think the new drain, it worked good this last rain. It didn't cut across the field. But I got to build grates and get all that done, so that'll be. We're gonna hold off on the gutters for right now, because once we put them gutters in, I'll have to put in drains to catch that water. So I don't know that I'll have time to cut 3 long ditches the length of them fields and get the pipe in, get the drains set, and still have them on there playing ball. So I think it'd be better just to have that water hit and disperse for right now. If worst comes to worst, we can do a drain along the fence and go ahead and do the gutters, but I think we need to hold off right now so we can get it buried and underground and out of the way. Other than that, that's all I got on parks.
Charles is referring to that down softball fields. We still, those three canopies or whatever that cover the bleachers. He went ahead, couldn't wait, and baseball or softball season's creeping up. The water's running off really well. Donnie Collins is gonna come in next week with Charles and Shane and look at it and just see what we want, when we want it, and if something we could do it wouldn't mess us up, we'll do it, otherwise we'll hold off. That's been paid for, he just got ready, because he had a lot to do, so he went ahead and jumped on it, which is no problem. No word on the grant. I was telling you that, the 100% grant for $100,000 on the softball field. They still haven't picked the towns, but we're still in the running. Craig Clute said the baseball and softball, I think, officially ends even the late signups tomorrow. And he said he had a pretty good turnout. I think 8,600 they raised, which is a little bit middle or a little bit better. So that's all I have on parks. Okay, sorry. Streets. Any
got-
questions on parks?
I think it's a good deal to switch the high school team to field two.
Yeah,
The sun alone,
what she talked about, so.
Yeah.
the batters can't see
Yeah.
at a certain point of the day.
Well, it depends on who's batting. We don't want our people looking so.
Well, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
field two,
Yeah.
it won't be an issue anywhere on the field.
Yeah, and like I said, with that new drain in, it stopped a lot of the cutouts, so we're ready to turfus that field. I just kind of hold up on the turfus because I never know when we're going to have a flood event or something, so I hate to dump $3,000 or $4,000 down there and then fish get to lay eggs in at the Johnson hole. So.
Yeah.
I do know that they have ordered a new net for the high school baseball, JV, whatever baseball field, the back net. So they will be putting that up sometime here, as soon as it gets in.
Cool. They need to rent a bucket truck. I can rent them a bucket truck.
We got your number, Charles. Anything else on parks? Streets?
We got the culvert poured on Poplar Street. It turned out good. Kind of sweated that one a little, but the guys that poured it done a good job. Donnie Street's done. We widened it as wide as we could get it. I think we need to put in some guards on it. I just got to sit down and figure out how to get some guards on it, at least on that lower side, because that's a good drop off. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to get some guards. Try to get a breakaway guard. That way, if it floods and debris comes over, just break a bolt, fall down, everything passes through, then just come back and stand the guards back there. It's not really wide enough, but I think if I do a breakaway guard, I've done a couple of them before and they're not that bad. You just stand it up, put the pins in it, and basically you just need a guard so you know you're fixing to run off of it. So we kind of weigh that around, roll it around a little bit. Lots of brush. This H Street was just eat up with it. I guess somebody was clearing properties over in that way, and they actually put it out in the street. I think we hauled 20 loads off of there. They just pushed it plumb out in the streets. They was out there with trucks pulling stumps out of the ground, pulling bushes out of the ground. Yeah, it was a pretty big mess. So I went ahead and got it. I know we're only supposed to do 4 before pile, but once they throw it out into the street and it's halfway out in the street, you pretty much got to go get it. Either that or go push it back in the yard. So other than that, that's all I got on the street. Looking at a mower, I've got 2 that actually need to be retired. The old Hustler, diesel Hustler. It's been here 16 years. It's mowed a lot of grass. And then the bad boy, it's only been here 10, but it's not near the mower that Hustler built. It's pretty rough. We'll keep them back just in case something tears up, but we found one, Richard and I. It's a rear discharge. Good price on it. Still got some warranty on it. So we're looking at it pretty heavy. It's a nice little machine, so. I've never used the rear discharge. I've seen good reviews on it. Instead of wind rolling that grass just straight out, it lays it out right behind you. So,
Seemed like less problems for somebody driving by, I would think, if it was going out the rear.
yeah, so not slinging it out in the street and all that stuff, so. So I'm kinda looking at that. Other than that, that's all I got.
Brand wise,
It's John Deere, 73-inch deck, 72-inch deck. It's a big wide deck. It's got the no flat tires on it. So
did we get one of those last year?
we got one, got a used one, two of them. Richard bought one and we bought one.
Well, y'all bought one, I used, no, yeah.
So I mean, it's still
Richard
running.
got it for rental if you ever need it.
It's still running, but we're looking at tires.
It is a,
New tires on it, which the tires are
A
going
good
to
mower.
be about $2,600 for just the tires. So
you won't get a pig in a poke. It's a good unit and they've held up really well, so.
Charlie, are you wanting to buy that mower?
yeah. Richard and I was looking at it pretty heavy. I just want to
You've
let
got
you
the money in your, to do that, don't you?
So I just want to let you know that we was looking at it, and Richard and I sit down and make a final decision on it here next couple of days and see what.
Yeah, and I believe it'll be delivered. It's been
Yeah.
delivered, so.
You got any streets planned to be resurfaced or repaved or anything this year?
Yes, Richard and I kind of was going to get together, but both of us has kind of been hit and miss here and there. He's got some that people's called and talked to him about, and then we've got a few others. And now we've got the gas company is fixing to cut up probably half the streets on School Hill. Apparently they got leaks everywhere, so they're up there
I'm glad we,
demolishing streets. We kind of lined them up a little bit today and made them fill out their forms like they were supposed to. The guy didn't like it, but we didn't really care. It's like, look, we need to know who's doing what.
Exactly.
hey, we got it going in the right direction. That little ordinance we did and the little handout and sign off, it worked out good. It had a snafu early this morning, but
He
we
thought
got
just
that
a phone
fixed.
call would pass him by, but nope, he obviously had to come down and physically fill some out, so.
That's all I had, that mower, and then, that's all I had. You mentioned that, and then under streets, under the next, in March, we'll talk about a street. Got a street issue coming up in March, and that's about all I have in streets. Anything else?
On those street cuts, you have to do a post repair, like analysis, look at them, make sure that.
Yeah, and they're supposed to, well, anything, that's the reason why I want it on paper, because if they come in and co-mix them and then it sinks in, then I can just call them back and say, hey, you cut this street, you need to come and level this back up and fix it. That's the whole purpose of making sure that's filled out, so I know who cut what.
We made him 30 copies, so if he moves around,
Because he said they was fixing to cut a bunch of streets up there. In fact, he was actually cutting one that he called and told me he was gonna cut one, but then he went to another one and cut it. And he wasn't even on that, and he's like, well, I thought we'd cut it and fix it and then come fill it out. We informed him that he needed to come and fill it out first.
But we got it lined up.
Signature on it, so yeah,
Yeah. I was just thinking, as long as, like, after they're done, that you went and looked at it and said, okay, that's good enough, or no. we need to
That's
do
part of
the
that.
purpose of it, yeah.
That's part of the deal.
I
Yeah,
thought that was in there, but I didn't.
I thought Charles had a sunburn.
If if they come and they plan on doing 3 streets, it's good for a little while, or it's every.
Every cut probably got to be like.
Every street.
No. I'm saying like they got a project like they're talking about. Surely they can do like 3 or 4 at a time, and that's good for the month or something.
I have no idea. He just stood there and told me that he had a whole bunch, that he had a lot of leaks and he was fixing to cut up a bunch of streets.
They give us an estimate time of completion, yeah.
I was like, so you're gonna cut up $400,000 worth of streets, and he's like, yep, ain't nothing I can do about it. And I was like, well, I guess ain't nothing I can do about it either.
This started back with it just showing up and then,
I remember.
Even Charles had a good point. If they're gonna change a gas deal out and it's only in the street like 4 inches, can you not dig down with a shovel and a pick and not cut the street? That kind of started it. Then did the water department do it or the street department or the gas company? So if everybody uses that form, it works really well. And I think we're off to a good start after a bumpy start this morning. Anything else for Charles?
Frazier. Something's all
Yeah.
marked up on Frazier.
That's where they're fixing to cut it all to pieces. That's what all that is.
Wasn't a bond part of that? They had to like buy a bond or get a bond.
Yeah, I think we kind of done away with that because you had the phone company and then you had the water department. So the water department gonna have to come in and set a bond, and then the phone company set a bond. So I
The
think
original deal said
we kinda
it was
done away.
everybody except you put an exclusion on the water department. Yeah.
Water and phone, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's still in there.
I
It's
think
still
the
in the
bond
ordinance.
is part of it.
We didn't change the ordinance, did we?
I'm pretty
No.
sure the bond is part of it.
We just had that so we could keep up
And
with
they
it.
should, I would think that
But these companies are, I mean,
They already
Summit or
bonded all of
CenterPoint,
it, you
whatever
know.
they're called.
your Summit Utility or whatever they are now, you're already bonded, so they should have the bond. That shouldn't be an issue to show you.
I think
Anything
the
else?
bond we were thinking would be
It's
more for
contractor.
smaller, like Summit, if the Summit Energy is the one out there cutting, we're gonna get our money, we need it, and they're gonna be good, yeah.
Do we have any updates on the wave break going down Main Street where the ramp is? I get calls on that all the time.
Still sinking and still settling, so we're either gonna have to go up there with a backhoe and rip it out, get it ground off or something.
Fix it just perfect. We'll be right back in there.
Jason Lynch, Tim Barnes, Sam Ward, Street Department Committee.
I'm serious. They do that in big cities. It's all an alley. Yeah.
Sometimes when I need a little thrill, I just go ahead and hit it a little bit harder.
I don't have anything.
All right, anything else? Yeah, that you had the money for that mower, so that was the main thing in that. Anything else for Charles? Thanks. Brings us down to Police Department report. You have that in front of you. Jay called in sick. If he calls in sick, he's sick. Incidents, you have that. Reports taken, 81 incidences, 8 accidents. On the trafficway, there were 7, 2 in the parking lot. No non-reportable calls. There was 171 total. 21 alarms, controlled substances seized. They didn't do any of that. Warnings, 23 warnings, 45 citation, no juvenile arrest. New investigations open was 9, investigations closed was 7, arrest and warrants filed was 7, charges filed, no felonies, 7 misdemeanors. Animal control, 3 calls, picked up no dogs. I think Rita's taking care of, picked up no cats. You also have an extended speed summary on Memory Lane. You have that in front of you. I was kind of hoping Jay would be here to read that. If there's anything to point out on that, I don't know how many tickets they actually wrote, but you may can see it quicker than I. Looks like people are up near 40, I think, on sometimes.
68's the highest.
68 was the high?
Interstate 40 is what he meant.
Yeah.
Interstate 40.
Jeff, is that you or me?
68 on Memory Lane?
Yeah.
Serious?
I didn't see
11 in the
that.
morning.
At 11 in the morning.
I was thinking it was gonna be like 3 a.m., but no.
11 in the morning?
11 in the, like right before noon. Hour before noon.
They only had
Wow.
30 minutes to eat. They had their own biscuits were burned.
On that, and for next month, he was just gonna talk to you tonight. I told him I missed it. He wanted to do 3 things. One was, he talked about this before, to buy his pistol that he's carrying, to personally buy that and have it. I think so he could get one that matches all of the other officers, I think. So all the clips would be interchangeable. And to sell the guns that they've confiscated and sell those, and maybe use those funds to buy some new rifles. That's all I have actually on that. 2 things in the report. So I didn't know we had 68, but thanks for pointing that out. Any other questions for Dewey on speeding? They didn't take a picture of who that was, did they?
You weren't over there about that time, were you?
I don't know.
That was also, that was actually his son throwing a baseball. That's what it was.
Okay, brings down to Water Department, Chief Will Hinchy.
All right. Chemical cost is up from last month. We did, I told you last month at the meeting, we had manganese starting to come in, so we were fighting it. So we were at 12 cents per thousand. We were right at 9 cents the month before. Water loss for the whole system as a whole was 28%, and Burnt Ridge was 36%, Denard was 29%. That is up a little bit as far as the two smaller systems, Burnt Ridge and Denard. They're both up a little bit. We're staying steady. We're looking at a yearly basis. This time last year, we're down on the whole. We were 31%, but Burnt Ridge was at 26 and Denard was at 15. So we've got a few updates here. I kind of go off our agenda from our board meeting. We got some trucks down right now, or a truck down right now, trying to decide what to do about it. It's one of the ones we got off the police department, so we got to rebuild a motor, put a new motor in it, or do something else. Use it for parts maybe. We got an update as far as B Branch. I really don't have much of an update. They're meeting the 20th, and I'll be attending that, and maybe they'll make a decision on whether we join together or they stay their own entity. I'll let people know after the meeting. You know, we can send out an email or anything, but I don't have anything to report tonight on that. ANRC projects, we did find out, we haven't got the official in writing, but the way we're understanding now on that percent rate is it won't all be locked in unless we close on the loan. So we're trying to put as many projects together and do one loan closing, and for one loan closing for wastewater, one loan closing for water, to try to get that interest rate set in for some of the projects we can get done. But they have to be approved, bid out, accepted, and then loan closed on to be able to keep that 4% interest rate. Talking with Kyle, he said with the way the government and everything's going right now, he's actually thinking the interest rate may come down. So it may not be a huge issue, you know. So we have requested that in writing. We have not gotten the official answer yet. Projects, as of today, the PD Creek project was completed. We've actually been switched over to the new line for a couple of days, but they completed cleanup. We considered the job completely done today. We still got one more pay request coming. We got a pay request today. The Highway Department has not approved it yet, but they will. So we're about completely done with it. And then the Clearwell project at the water treatment plant, we had an on-site meeting on policies on shutdown and all that, just to try to get in the groove before they started. The part we were waiting for has been delivered, and they should start construction sometime in the next week or so. So that's about all I got as far as reports go, but if you guys got any questions.
Oh, that's, you touched on the 20th Tuesday at B Branch? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's at what time, do we know?
They meet at 5:30. Yes.
How are you on that? Are you like hopeful to not take it over, or?
Right now I'm in between. I would like to know whether we were, that way we can move forward, but if we're not, you know, we'll just sit back and it'll be theirs and we'll sell them more.
I don't know as many problems as they have with it. If it would be like, if we take that over, is that going to take too much emphasis away from our water department?
So you got to think about, as of right now, as far as staff wise they go, they are making improvements. So I don't think it would take a lot as far as manpower away, and it's not going to be as far as financial because they've got their own separate grant and everything for a lot of their projects. It will be a strain, don't get me wrong. It would be on the office for sure, you know, and, you know, spreading management just a little thin and stuff. But the guys they got working, They really did work during that whole ice or the snow and everything, the cold weather. They were unfortunate. They made a lot of people mad, but you know they did work at it. I will say that they had Arkansas Rural Water out there. It wasn't just them. They had up to 6 guys at a time out there helping them with rural water. Of course, that's another thing I was going to point out. This report, as far as the water loss and everything, it's not showing that bad weather spell, so that's going to be next month. So actually, as far as breaks and stuff as our system, we were very, very fortunate. We did not have, but we had one break on School Hill during that time. It had nothing to do with the cold weather. It just happened to break during the time. But things like that, it was just keeping controls froze up and stuff like that. But that'll be on next month. So actually, the water loss should be down next month because we sold a lot more water than what we did. Yeah, we had a lot of sales, especially with our, and I'll say that with B Branch. B Branch only had 2 small breaks during that time. It was just they couldn't handle the consumption. I mean, people were using.
What is their water loss down there? Do you know?
I don't have a report. Last month when I went to their meeting, I think it was 65%, but I don't know an update. Yeah. They have fixed. I talked to Nicole today. They fixed several leaks. I'm not trying to make this whole meeting about B Branch, but they have fixed several leaks. It's just right now they're so tight that their pumpage isn't going. We're still selling the same amount of water even though they're fixing those leaks. So. And they're still having a little strain. They're still having trouble keeping up with East Mountain and stuff at this point. But they found out a little bit of the system. I found out a little bit about the system during this. They've got one tank down there on 92 East, and I think Nicole told me today it was like 64,000 gallon tank. Well, if it was back up, that's going to take some of that strain off of that big blue tank. That big blue tank's only 150,000 gallons, and it's feeding over 1,000 customers. That's not very much water per day per customer, especially in a cold weather event when people's trying to run water. So, it's actually sad that they had that many people out of water and didn't have big major leaks. It's just, they got to make some improvements.
Yeah, I didn't know if it'd just be something we'd be, babysitting all the time with water breaks as often as it happen.
We would have to go down there and assist because we'd have to treat it like ours. We'd have to treat those customers just like anybody else on our system right now, try to get them back on as fast as possible. I do think we can maintain it. We do have better equipment and stuff, but I'm not trying to say we're going to go down there and just make it perfect. We're going to be adopting a problem. Yeah. We know that.
In that situation, though, I guess there would have to be some kind of supervisor or something that would be kind of maintaining that area, wouldn't you? I mean, you'd think.
The way we work it right now, with our on-call, most of our guys are experienced enough that they know how to maintain a situation on a break. There's very seldom they have to just call me or Kent or someone like that to get orders. I mean, so most of the people could handle the situations.
I was kind of trying to say, if it did happen, it would not put more on you to relief more of somebody like Kent doing more of that area.
And with the new guy they've got down there, he's taking a manager position down there and stuff, and he's learning it, and he's had to learn a whole bunch at one time. I think by the time all this, they're saying that if we did go through the process we started, we wouldn't take them over officially until their projects was committed. And it wouldn't really be ours, but we would want to go down there and assist. But within that 2-year period, you're talking about someone else being down there. I'm thinking about stationing them as a satellite station. I don't think it would really. I don't think we got to worry about pulling away and us not being able to get to our customers at Clinton.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just trying to figure out a way, if it did happen, to kind of relieve some from just you.
Yeah.
And I guess Kent maybe does more of that anyway. I don't know.
Kent does, like I was going to get to that next. Don't want to talk about a whole lot on Kent's personal life and everything, but he has been in the hospital for a couple of weeks, and you don't realize how much you miss the guy until he's not there. So yeah, it does add a little bit of strain, and he keeps a lot of that strain off of me. So
is B Branch still behind on their bills?
They're not as far behind, so they have been paying towards it. Yes.
I have Sean and Sammy and Jeff on the water deal, so you're up first. You fill in there. Okay.
But I will. I won't wait until the next meeting to give you guys an update. I will. Donna send. If I see you, I'll tell you. But we'll send out an update after I go to the meeting. Yeah.
I talked to some people down there, and you know, pretty much what I felt like is, hey, there's not a. If we're not going to take it over, then we don't need to be going down there and helping all the time.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. You know.
Well, I mean, we've
if,
kind of
if
been
there's still a
treated.
plan, then okay, that's great. But if
But
they're
we
not-
did during their bad time, during the code and everything. Me and one other employee went down there during working hours one day, and then Kent, another employee, went down another time. But besides that, we did not use any of our manpower and stuff during that. They handled the situation best they could with Rural Water's assistance.
Yeah, rural water helping. Y'all had your hands full too. I mean, you, Clinton.
Yeah.
And I was at Van Buren County's office today, and 2 of their board members are in there. They were fixing to have a meeting, and they wanted to thank the water department for them us not having any issues as far as not being able to supply them as much water. You know, Van Buren County's water meters they doubled, but we were able to keep up. We were very fortunate, so everything went good.
Okay. Anything else for Will? Thank you. Brings us to zoning. Tim Clark.
All right, the A&P met Monday night, and they voted unanimously to suggest Scott Lively of Crappy Jacks to fill the vacant position that we have right now.
Okay. You need a motion, a second for that approval.
Yeah.
Entertain a motion, a second to appoint Scott Lively.
Make a motion that we take the A&P's.
Second it.
Any discussion?
Well, I didn't finish my motion.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we take the A&P's recommendation on Scott Lively to fill the empty position on the A&P commission.
Second. You got it?
Sammy.
Any discussion on that? Ask for a vote.
Barnes,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, we've started working on Archie Fest. We do have a carnival contracted this year. Of course, we always have the fireworks. The Metro Bass Club always does a big spring fishing tournament on Greers Ferry Lake. Just a group out of Little Rock. They requested later on, and we approved it Monday night. They want to come back October the 19th and 20th. That's their end of the year tournament, and it'll be the normal Little Rock group plus the clubs out of Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. So be a lot of extra people in town, a lot of extra people on the lake. And I mean, some of y'all, Sam, a bunch of them have worked with these guys. They're a great bunch of guys. And I was telling them about our Christmas in Clinton and our parade. And they said, well, boy, we wish you'd already told us, because we'll come up here, decorate our trucks, our boats like Christmas, and be in the parade. So they're just a good bunch of guys, easy to work with. Also, I talked to Jack Young. He's the FEMA rep for Region 6. They're working on our final stage of approving our flood maps. And when me and Richard started this, and they said it'd take 5 years, and I said, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. And this is the 5th year. And when I talked to him day before yesterday, he was very excited at how fast this is happening, that we're on a fast track and doing so well. And he said, we just finished, did the final everything and put into effect the flood maps in Washington County, which is the Fayetteville area. And he said that was kind of normal for us. It took us a little over 8 years. So to them, we're rocking and rolling. To me,
Maps are not gonna be
we're
good.
running in molasses. But,
Be out there.
you know, point is, we are getting it done, and we will get it done. And he said we'll have preliminary maps for you guys to go over in July.
Of
You know what I said? I went, oh, July, that's great.
Agonizing, but it, and I think they were pretty comfortable with where it, you know, they're gonna send them back to us in July, and if anything we totally don't agree with, but we were pretty comfortable last time. They landed pretty much where they said they were.
Yeah,
And downtown is in pretty good shape.
those preliminary maps that they're gonna send, I talked to Lee at FTN, the engineering company, and he said, when you get them, he said, send them, you know, get them to different people, DL, probably several people in this room. And he said, go over them with a fine tooth comb. Make sure everything's labeled right. He said, these maps are forever, or for a very long time. And so, as bad as it would pain me to send it back and go, hey, make these changes, and then send them back for another approval, but I'd rather do that and get it right. So when we get the final maps, we know they're right. So
Well, we know the ones we have right now are not.
we know they're wrong.
Okay, anything else from you? Anything for Tim on that? Thank you. Brings us to unfinished business. We don't have any of the new business. Is a resolution for a fire truck storage lease. I'm gonna read this resolution. This was for, and then DL elaborate on this. So I'll ask for a motion in a second. Once I read it in the lease agreement. It's a resolution designating and authorizing the mayor to execute a lease for storage of a fire truck. Whereas the city of Clinton needs space to store a fire truck, and whereas Justin Lee and Caroline Lee has offered space within the building they own along Highway 65 to store a fire truck, and whereas the city desires to enter into a lease attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A. Now therefore be resolved by the city of Clinton, Arkansas, Section 1, the mayor, as the signatory agent and successors of said agent, is hereby authorized and directed to execute that certain lease agreement attached hereto as Exhibit A. I will read the lease agreement. It's basically the exact same agreement we had, except it just denotes Justin Lee as opposed to Justin and Caroline Lee. They're fine with that. They've signed off on that. That makes it easy for accounting, easier. In the lease agreement, just the price is going up from $300 to $1,000. We've been there a couple of years, kind of like these maps, but we're getting there. I want to read this, so if people don't have it, they can hear it. In consideration of mutual benefits, obligation, and rent provided in this lease, receipt and sufficiency of which is hereby acknowledged, the leaser, Justin and Caroline Lee, husband and wife, agree to lease to the leasee, City of Clinton, Arkansas, certain premises to be used by the leasee to house a fire truck and other related equipment. Lease premises. Number one, the leaser agrees to rent to the leasee space in the building located at 2637 Highway 65 South. More particularly described at that certain warranty deed recorded in Van Buren County Circuit Clerk's Office at document 210-2418. Number two, it's the undersigned by the parties that the space shall be utilized by the leasee to house a fire truck and other related equipment, and that the leasee shall utilize so much of the premises as necessary for such purpose. Number three, the term of this lease shall commence at noon, January 5th, 2023, and continue until noon on January 15th, 2025. We're obviously we're going to pay up 2 months after tonight if we agree to this. The term shall be automatically renewed on a year-to-year basis unless either party provides a notice to terminate the lease in at least 90 days prior notice of the expiration of any given term. Number four, rent is subject to the provisions of this lease, and the rent for this premises shall be $1,000 per month. 5, the leasee shall pay the rent on or before the 15th day of each month of the term of the lease. Said payment shall be made to Justin Lee, P.O. Box 1491, Clinton, Arkansas, 72031 by mail or delivery at the convenience of the leasee. The leaseor covenants and upon paying the rent and performing the covenants contained in this lease, the leasee shall peacefully and quietly have, hold, and enjoy the premises of the agreed term. Number 7, the leasee is hereby advised to acknowledge that the personal property of the leasee shall not be insured by the leaseor for either damage or loss, and that the leaseor assumes no liability for personal property loss. The leasee is advised that if separate insurance coverage is desired by the leasee should obtain a renter's policy of insurance. Number 8, the leasee improvements of any remodel are subject and prior to the leaseor approval. Number 9, amendment of lease. Any amendment or modification of this lease or additional obligation assumed by either party in this connection with the lease shall only be binding if evidence in writing signed by both parties. Number 10, if the premises or any part of the premises is partially damaged by fire or other casualty, not the fault of the leasee or act of the leasee or the leasee's clients, customers, or personnel, the premises shall promptly be repaired by the leaseor. There will be an abatement of rent corresponding with the time during which to the extent which the premises may have been occupied by the leasee. However, if the premises should be damaged as described in the leaseor determines that it's not practical to rebuild or repair the premises, the leaseor may terminate this lease by giving appropriate notice to the leasee. Number 11, leasee agrees to defend, indemnify, and hold harmless the leaseor against any claim, expense, loss, or liability as a result of any breach by leasee. The leasee's agents, servants, employees, customers, visitors, or licensees of any covenant or condition of this lease as a result of the leasee's use of occupancy of the leased premises or the result of the carelessness, neglect, or improper conduct of the leasee's agents, servants, employees, customers, visitors, or licenses. The leasee agrees to promptly notify the leaser of any damage, of any situation that may significantly interfere with the normal use of the premises and furnishing by the leasees. Number 13, the expiration of any term of this lease, the leasee shall surrender and deliver the premises as in good state of conditions as the premises was in commencement of this lease. Reasonable use and wear and tear are expected. We're almost done. First, number 14, any waiver by the parties to perform or observe provisions of this lease shall not operate as a waiver of either party's rights under this lease in respect of any subsequent defaults, breaches, or no performances, and will not default or affect in any other way the leasee or the leasee's rights and obligations set forth herein. And the last one, the leasee shall extend to be binding upon the injured in the benefit of the respective heirs, executors, administrators, successors, and assigns in the case of any in each part of this lease. All covenants are to be considered as conditions of this lease, in witness whereof the leaser and leasee have duly affix their signature, which will be to Justin Lee. They'll sign that, and Justin and Caroline Lee after tonight if we approve this, and we'll pay Justin Lee. I'll entertain a motion to accept this for this resolution. Entertain a motion second for this, along with, do I need to get 2 votes on lease agreement?
Just resolution.
Along with the reference lease agreement. Entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
I'll say.
Any discussion?
So, I've read it a little bit and this and that, and I'm just trying to, maybe I missed it somewhere. If for some reason in 6 months or a year we've got a building enough to put the truck in, is this still a 2-year lease, or can you get out of it? I don't see any place there that says that you can show leaser.
It doesn't have a termination clause. I mean, is that? It's a 1 year. It's a 1 year with a renewal.
Okay.
That was the first thing it shows. From 2023 to continue until noon of 2025. So. Was like, so we're stuck for 2 years regardless if we.
Well, if we are, then 1 year's already done. Yeah, so
Yeah.
2023,
What's December?
January 2015,
Oh,
2023.
yeah, okay, so we've done a year.
So we're 1 year in, so there you go. Okay, so we're good on that.
Okay.
But there's not there's not a termination clause. I mean, if
I
you
don't-
think,
I
if you think you,
I mean, I have no clue, I'm just.
Day,
It's on number 3, it says 90 days.
yeah.
Okay, I thought I tried to read through it, and I kept looking for that. I never seen
It
it.
says the days.
Oh, okay, at least 90 days prior, okay.
Yeah, and
It's
I
right
think
on the bottom.
if we were get out, I don't think they would hold us to it. I think they'll be glad when we're, get the new
Like
fire.
a lease termination.
Yeah.
we
number
could,
three.
I mean, they probably,
I just kept reading through it, kept trying,
Yeah.
I missed it, the way it was there.
well, now, let me be clear though, no, that's your right to terminate the lease at the end of the term.
Yeah.
But you're still obligated for,
Yeah.
it's a year lease.
It's a year.
Release, so we're obligated regardless.
I think
It's gonna take at
that.
least-
I mean, I understand that. I was thinking 2 years, but, so we're not pre-paying, I guess we're not back paying for the last year, or?
No, we paid, we paid.
No,
We paid.
it's a typo. It's January 2024.
Okay.
It's a 1 year,
That
yeah,
makes
you're
more
redoing,
sense.
yeah,
It's
that's a
one-year
typo.
lease.
It's-
If that should
yeah.
be 2024, then okay,
Yeah.
I understand it.
Yeah.
Because that looks like we should be back paying for the last year.
It's January 2024
Okay.
going forward. And I guess actually, you should probably go ahead and amend that right now then.
I'll make a motion we amend the date to
Yeah, no.
2025.
Number
Or it'll be
3,
from 24 to 25, right?
No, it's right now, it's January 15th, 2023. It needs to be amended, that needs to be amended for January 15th, 2024
To
to
2025.
continue until,
Motion to amend it. Second?
Second.
Any other discussion? I'll ask for a vote on the amendment.
Barnes,
Yes.
Hastings,
yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Pistol.
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay, I'll entertain
so now, I understand that we probably will be a year, but should we have,
No, you can't.
You can't
Any
terminate.
given term, which is a year term, you have to give notice 90 days before that term's up. You're going to end at the end of
I'm
the.
saying, should we have any kind of clause added that within 10 months or 9 months, we got the building put in?
I'd say we should look at that for next time. I'd say this was good for this next year, and then we got to redo this if we want to do another year.
Well, no, I don't think it's
You got an
reoccurring.
automatic renewal.
Automatic renewal if we want to, but we can always
So
set up something
if
different.
if you want to go back, I mean, I can add, we can add a termination clause. If you want to add a termination clause, we can do that.
This is the first I've heard of this resolution, but I'm kind of like, you can put it in there if you want to, but I don't think they would have a problem with us saying, hey, we're out.
I mean, I'm just looking.
Of course, that's a bridge we can cross when it gets to when we're
I
done.
don't want a termination clause. I think they've been very patient with us, and that's my opinion.
We probably won't get it to where we'd have it dry enough within a year. I understand that. To where you'd want a truck moved in, even if.
We don't want a truck moved in until it's completed. We do not want to move a truck in the
But that's
middle.
work-
It
I mean,
will
I'm just
stop
thinking-
everything.
I'm just thinking that's $12,000 if, that we could do something with the building if we could put the truck in there within a year instead of doing another year.
I think most likely you're talking about if you want to try to find a place that you can get a lower rental rate, maybe.
Or that.
And if you come up
is
with
the
something
other.
like that, if you want to put an escape clause in here, is what it means basically.
I think
we can do that.
if
But
we
that's-
came up.
Usually they'd be set up to where you got 90 days that you give notice that you're not gonna be there.
Well, I'll
under
say
something.
you can negotiate that, but now most landlords want to pay want to lease that they know
I
they
understand, I
have
mean,
term.
I was thinking 2
Yeah.
years when I was first
Yeah.
reading this. 1 year, I can understand that.
But we've already been in there for what? A year and a half?
They could tell you it's probably longer than that.
And they have not hardly charged us anything.
They would love for us to have, they won't stop us if we wanted to escape.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm sure we just get a
They let
lease
us go
termination
tomorrow.
agreement, and they'd sign it, and we'd sign it, and probably.
The Lees have been
That's the
very,
feedback
very
I've gotten.
gracious.
is that I think they're happy to get the
I'm just
space
trying to
back,
get the
but,
legalities
yeah.
as best as
Yeah.
possible.
It's up to you. I mean, it's up to the council. If you want me to do it, I'll do it.
Just
It's
cross
up
when
to
we get there. If we figure out if the fire station's gonna be done in October, go to them in September and say, hey, if we're
Yeah.
gonna get out
They
in
ain't gonna be done,
October,
but
can we strike the
They
last
would be
3 months?
more than happy to do that,
Okay.
my opinion, but if somebody wants to change it, you can make a motion and vote on it, but otherwise we
I
have.
just went through that in the last month. on the lease termination.
I believe he would be happy to have it out tomorrow.
He'd like it up tomorrow.
He'd like it out tomorrow. It's killing his bay to work on anything. I mean, I've talked to him a little bit, and he's just like, I understand. He said, but I want it gone. When are you getting this building built?
He was thinking a year at the most, maybe 2, but yeah.
Company is like fish, Joe Lee said, if they stay for too long, it starts to stink. Anything else? Motion second as amended. I'll call for, did we make a motion second for this as amended? Who did that?
No, we
amended it. I'll entertain a motion and a second for this,
We already got the motion in the second.
It's been amended.
It's amended, now we just gotta vote on there first.
We did the motion, and then we had to do a motion for the amendment.
Okay.
Did the motion,
Okay.
voted, then we amended the date and we voted.
Okay.
So now
Now
vote
it's,
one more time.
now it's up for an up or down.
Okay, as it was amended, I'll entertain, any other discussion? I'll ask for a vote. I just asked, do we need to go ahead and motion second as
Need a motion
amended?
and a second to accept
Do you want
the
it or not?
amended.
Because we already voted on the first motion, we're not still waiting to vote on it. We voted on it. Then we amended it and voted on it again.
Yeah.
So now we need another motion,
I move we,
I guess, or maybe we don't. I don't know.
We
I
voted
move
on
we
the first
adopt,
one?
we
No, we
adopted,
didn't.
yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we voted on.
We voted on the first one, then we amended the date and we voted again.
So we probably don't need anything
Are we
else,
done?
do we?
Are we done?
Chad?
You amended it during the discussion. You've now got a resolution that's been amended to correct the scrivener's error on the date. You're still in the discussion. You're ready for an up or down. It's a resolution, so you're up. You're ready for a
That's what I
vote.
thought.
If you want to end discussion and
That's
vote.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So ask for a vote?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll ask for a vote.
Barnes,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward.
Yep.
Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, anything else on, public comments?
I do want to say one thing about that.
The first motion.
If anybody asks how come we're paying that and it's but there, we've been looking for a place before we bought this land where we're going to build this fire station. The reason why it's got to be there is we're on that side of that river bridge. Ladder trucks are only good for 3 miles radius under ISO. A pumper truck is worth 5 miles. So that truck, that is the only place that we've got out there that we've been able to find to be able to put that truck. So if anybody asks why we didn't store it in Joe's barn or something,
I'd even forgot about that, the location. It's been a great spot, and I'm sure the Lees need their workspace back, and hopefully we can progress pretty quick on this fire station. Anything else under?
we want to move monies to pay for that.
Yes. Tell them what you need and where you're gonna pay for that.
Okay, because the rent's going up, I think according to this statement of revenue expenditure, we have $1,500 in rent for building.
Yeah.
So what I told Richard what we could do, and it's up to y'all, out of our fire truck fund, the $20,000 that's put into our budget, I would like to, if you want to do this, we could move $7,000 out of that to the rent to cover that for the next, we have $1,500, $8,000, cover 8 months. And by that time, we can kind of see where we're at, as far as where the building may be at that point, and then we could always come back and move a little more if we needed to. But that wouldn't, by doing it this way, you're not taking anything out of general, and the fire truck is paid for. We have everything, all our trucks paid for, so it's not gonna hurt us to move that money from there to the rental of that building. If that's something y'all would like to do. But you'd have to do a motion in a second to move $7,000 out of the fire truck fund, the $20,000 out of the fire truck fund to rent a building.
No, because it's not moved over yet.
What's not moved over?
The 20,000 doesn't move over till you say you want to move it over in case you use it. So it's a line item in general fund.
That's why I'm asking if they'd have to move it out of that line item to another line item.
Yes.
That's what I'm asking them to do.
Okay, well, you said the fund, so there's a
No,
separate
no, no.
fund.
The $20,000 that's in the budget,
The line item.
the line item.
Okay.
They would have to move
Not
out of the line
fire
item
truck
to
fund.
this other line item.
Yes.
The fire truck fund is a line item, is what you're saying.
We have 20,000 in the line item of our general budget that we get every year from, in our budget. That at the end of the year, that 20,000 is transferred to the fire truck fund.
Right.
So if y'all wanna do that, you can transfer 7,000 out of the 20,000 line item and move it to the rental of the building.
What's the name of that line item? Is there any?
Fire
name?
truck fund.
Fire truck.
It's
It says
fire truck
Yeah,
fund.
'cause it just moves over 20,000 into the fire truck fund.
Correct.
That line item does. If DL doesn't use it for something else, or he'll say, hey, I needed it for this, only move this amount over.
But because it's a line item, y'all would have to make a motion in a second to move it from that line item to another.
Make a motion to move $7,000 from the fire truck line item to the rent line item.
I'll second.
Motion, is there a second?
I second.
Any other discussion? I'll ask for a vote.
Barnes,
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Pistol.
Yes.
Ward.
Yep.
Williams.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Takes
Bob.
everything out of general. We ain't gotta worry about general. Fire department's taking care of it.
Appreciate the clarification on location. Sometimes we forget that. I even forgot that. Anything under public comments? Not, it brings us down to mayor's comments. I talked about if we have one reason of the delay in getting this out was, one of the reasons was, your agenda out was, I thought for special events, we might have to have an event clause for things that are going on. We talked about that. I'll put that on the agenda next month if we need it. We can do the merge clause. Basically, if we have something going on that's a 3-day event, out like this eclipse coming up, not done, make everything legal for that. Anybody at these events, we'll have that on the agenda next time. Have a street issue discussion also. That's all I have on that. Tomorrow at 3, I was talking about moving that eclipse meeting. We're gonna go ahead and move that till Monday, the eclipse meeting at 2 o'clock Monday. I have an appointment that came up that's gonna conflict at that I have to be at. And finally, you had mentioned Kent. He's doing a lot better. Just talked to him a few hours ago. He's a wealth of information and really a good human being. Does a lot for his city and his fellow man. He's on the mend, and Brian Ward's getting a lot better. A lot of people ask me about Brian Ward. Sorry on the passing of Dewey Bruce and some other locals at Clinton. Cal Graham has passed away, 99, been a great run, and big part of this community. So really great people that y'all represent for years. So nothing else further. Appreciate you all very much, especially in the cold weather, everything y'all did and what the fire department went through and police this last week's pretty tough. So great job, everybody. If nothing else, entertain a motion second to adjourn.
Motion with adjourn. Second.
Well, thank you.